This is Tar Heel Talk, an in-depth look at the issues and people making news in North Carolina. Here's your host, Sonia Williams.
Today's show focuses on a number of organizations and efforts to help children and families in need throughout the Wake County area. On Saturday, April 29th, the Raleigh-Wake chapter of Jack and Jill of America will hold its annual Jazz Brunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Raleigh Marriott Crabtree Valley. For tickets, log on to rwjj.eventbrite.com. And one group being honored at this event is the Clarence E. Leitner YMCA Achievers Program. And this program is designed specifically for minority students in grades 6 through 12 to help prepare them for life after high school. And joining me now to tell us more about the Y Achievers Program and the upcoming Jazz Brunch are Rhonda Moore, co-chair of the fundraising committee with Raleigh-Wake chapter of Jack and Jill, and Kendall Harris, senior director of the Y Achievers Program. Welcome to Tar Heel Talk.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Now, Kendall, the Y Achievers Program provides leadership and other life skills for our teens. Give us a little bit of history on this program and how it all came about.
I think if you go back to 1972, when it was founded for kids of color on college readiness. Probably about 16 years ago, I got trained on it and I brought the program here to Raleigh, North Carolina. And we just started out, teens that were in my program, there was nothing for them to do after they went through other programs, so I decided for them, college readiness was important, civic engagement, public speaking, self-esteem was important. We have grown since then. Just really 99.9% of our kids are graduating, going off to either 2-year school, 4-year schools. But I think the most important thing that I'm seeing is self-confidence. You've got to feel good about yourself. You got to know how to interview. You got to know how to speak. You got to know how to articulate. I engage in today's real world. So that's where we're at.
And this program is named in honor of Clarence Leitner.
That's exactly right. The first mayor in 1971 to 73, I believe, still today the only African-American mayor in Raleigh, North Carolina. We merged with the Leitner Foundation about 10 years ago. We merged together and brought both entities together because we were doing the same thing, and now it's named after him, the Clarence E. Leitner Y Achievers Program.
Now, how does this program work? Do students have to apply to be a part of the program?
We have a kickoff every year in August. It's an orientation. Our best brand that we've done has been the word of mouth. Teens telling other teens, volunteers telling other volunteers, and it's just grown. We meet on Saturdays, every first and third Saturday of the month from 10 to 1, which we call clusters, and that's where we talk about different things, whether it's how to write a resume, SAT prep. We now included a women's and men's empowerment series, which we're empowering young women, where we got adult volunteers that are empowering women, and we got men who are empowering young men. The young men just got through doing a session on 13th on Netflix and discussing that documentary, which is important. So that we meet on Saturdays, and there's a club night in several of our local branches, especially one on Hillsborough Street. Mike Lewis does a phenomenal job there on Wednesday nights from 7 to 8:30.
Okay. And we've got some pictures of some of your teens in action. Sure. You do a variety of activities with the students. Talk a little bit about some of the activities that happen throughout the year.
That's great. So one of the things we're starting to be big on is called our robotics program. It's around STEM. We got a middle school robotics team and a high school robotics team. And we've been doing it for the last 4 years. It's commitment, and now we want teens that are really want to learn about STEM. So we're now competing every year, and we're growing that. We do an annual college tour during spring break. Last year we were in South Carolina. This year we'll do 8 universities in a week in North Carolina. The key to that is now that we got students that graduate from the program that are the ambassadors that are doing the tour guides for us.
Excellent.
We'll serve about 40 teens on a college tour during spring break. But numerous things we didn't do is strike up SAT prep, which is important. Teens know how to do those type things as well. And a lot of our teens that have been in our program now are able now to be Y staff. When they're in that, they can work for the YMCA as well because they've been in the program. They understand the chain and the expectations of the YMCA.
Right. And Rhonda, we can see why the Raleigh-Wake chapter of Jack and Jill is honoring Y Achievers program. I want to talk a little bit about the event, the Jazz Brunch, and what people can expect. But first, tell us a little bit about Raleigh-Wake chapter of Jack and Jill.
Absolutely. The Raleigh Wake chapter of Jack and Jill has a long tradition of being involved in our community. We are an organization, one of the oldest in the country, dedicated to families. The organization has been around since 1938 and is dedicated to building the next generation of future African American leaders. So you can understand why this program is absolutely aligned with what we're doing. One of the things that we've really leaned into this year in the Raleigh Wake chapter of Jack and Jill are the parts of our mission that are about philanthropic giving, that are about leadership and community service. And we are planning to celebrate that through an event that we call Celebrating Raleigh Wake Rainmakers, our jazz brunch on April 29th.
Okay. Give us some details on this brunch, because I know this is something that we've been doing every year and it keeps growing, and I understand there's some new entertainment on tap.
Absolutely. It is a jazz brunch. So those who are jazz enthusiasts will absolutely love being with the Stanley Baird Group, who will join us. The Stanley Baird Group is well known in the Raleigh-Durham area and will provide entertainment that day. The event will be held at the Crabtree Valley Marriott, a beautiful venue. It will be attended by over 300 people. The event is really a celebration of the amazing work that over 75 families that represent the Raleigh Wake chapter of Jack and Jill have contributed this year in the way of their time through community service, in the way of their talent, in the way that we give and volunteer, and certainly in the way of their treasure in our philanthropic giving. So we're excited about the organizations that we will honor with our community gifts this year.
And as an honoree, you will definitely benefit from be able to help more students through the Y Achievers program by having that financial support.
Right. I think we're excited about it. I think I was shocked to get the call, but I think when you're partnering and collaborating with the right people, that's in line, and she said that, and your missions falling together. I think a lot of organizations need to work better together collaboratively than working against each other sometimes. But I think this is the beginning of a partnership that sometimes we overlap and serve some of the same teams. But how do we really work together to impact more? And as you say, those kids that really need to be there, that money will help get teams to be there, that really ones that we're trying to get there.
Absolutely. How can people find out more information about the Y Achievers program?
The website, I think it's ymcatriangle.org, or my name, Kendall.Harris at ymcatriangle.org. But go on our website and look up Lightner Y Achievers, and it's there, and it'll give you very objectives and missions of what we're about.
Kendall Harris, thank you so much for the work that you're doing for our teens in the community.
Thank you.
And thank you for being our guest today. Rhonda, we're going to talk more with you in just a minute.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Up next, helping families recover from homelessness, crisis, or disaster. We'll look at the Green Chair Project when Tar Heel Talk continues. Today we highlight several organizations and efforts to help children and families in need. On Saturday, April 29th, the Raleigh Wake chapter of Jack and Jill of America will host its annual Jazz Brunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Raleigh Marriott Crabtree Valley. For tickets, log on to rwjj.eventbrite.com. Now, another organization being recognized at the event is the Green Chair Project. This program provides household furnishings to those recovering from homelessness, crisis, or disaster. And with us again is Rhonda Moore with the Raleigh Wake chapter of Jack and Jill. Also joining us is Jackie Craig, co-founder and executive director of the Green Chair Project. Welcome to Tar Heel Talk.
Thank you.
Now, the Green Chair Project, you helped to found this organization back in 2010. Tell us a little bit about how you got that idea and how it's evolved over the years.
Sure. Well, about 7 years ago when we were starting this, we thought we would just be collecting maybe the extra lamp or toaster or dishes that we all have in our closets and trying to match it up with the need we knew existed in our community from people who were starting over after homelessness or crisis or disaster. We have outgrown that little closet that we started in and are now in a 30,000 square foot building on Capitol Boulevard in downtown Raleigh, and we've helped thousands of families since then to be able to begin again and have all of the experience, the comforts of home to help that make a difference in their recovery.
And this is about more than just providing furniture for a home. You're really changing lives. You're meeting families who are going through some very difficult times, and the work that you're doing and the support that you're providing is life-changing.
It really is. I think that our community used to consider it just a victory just to have someone housed, to have a roof over their head. But now with the Green Chair, we make it possible for them to also experience all the comforts of home, to have a couch to sit on, or a lamp to light the room, to be able to read a book to their child, or a table and chairs to eat dinner at together, for a family to be able to cook together and live and experience the comforts that we all deserve. So it really is the icing on the cake to their recovery, really a sense of normalcy, and most of all, just a restoration of dignity.
Absolutely, and that's important. And it's important to note that the furniture and the items that are provided are, in pristine condition. So you're not giving someone the old couch that's been in your garage. These are very nice furnishings that are being provided.
Right, and the clients get to come and get to choose what they like. They have a private shopping experience when they're on their way to recovery, to be able to choose a whole household full of furnishings at one time.
Wonderful. Yeah. And you work with partner agencies. Talk a little bit about how you are connecting with families in need.
Absolutely. We know that the hard work in terms of recovery in our community is being done by the numerous agencies, the nonprofits and human service agencies that already exist throughout Wake County. So we come alongside of those and partner with over 66 different entities throughout Wake County that are helping people make that transition out of homelessness or after crisis. And they are, as our partners, are able to bring their clients in to us to be able to have a shopping experience when they become housed.
Wonderful. And Rhonda, this is another great organization that Jack and Jill is honoring and supporting in our community.
It is, Sonia. One of the things that the Green Chair Project does is a program called Sweeter Dreams. And this really resonated with the mothers of the Raleigh-Wake chapter. Sweeter Dreams is a program that works with the Wake County public school system to identify children who might be sleeping on the floor or sleeping somewhere other than in a bed. And we all know how important a good night of rest is to academic success. It's something that we treasure as mothers that we can give to our children. And so to come alongside an organization like the Green Chair Project as the Raleigh-Wake chapter, and to fund several Sweeter Dreams beds is another way that we're making an impact in our community.
When you talk about making an impact in the community, you mentioned that the Green Chair Project has helped thousands of families. Talk a little bit more about that impact and what you see on a daily basis.
Sure. Well, in particularly in regards to the kids, kids who don't have beds, the social workers and teachers in the public schools come to us and tell us how important sleep is to a student if we want them to learn and to be able to pay attention and be able to be alert. They said oftentimes that kids come to school to sleep because they don't have that ability to have their own little sanctuary of having their own bed at home. So we know there are over 5,000 children throughout Wake County that do not have a bed of their own. So we're setting out to change that, and that's the impact that we hope to make through our Sweeter Dreams program. And again, whether it's providing a family with the comforts of home, with a couch and tables and chairs and dishes, or providing a child with a bed, all of those things are supporting. They really feel the whole support of the community coming alongside of them in their recovery, and really cheering them on to have a very healthy, holistic lifestyle that helps support their well-being in many ways.
How can people find out more information about the Green Chair Project?
Sure. Probably our website's the best way, at thegreenchair.org. Of course, we also have a Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and they can follow us there as well.
And I can imagine you have plenty of volunteer opportunities available if people want to get involved and help support the organization.
Absolutely. Most importantly, we all have stuff. in our homes that we can give. So we are open daily to accept donations on Tuesdays through Friday. You can just walk in at 1853 Capitol Boulevard and bring in your extra toaster or your lamp or your dishes. And then we also have a pickup service for your larger items like couches and tables and chairs, and we'll come to your home at no charge and pick those up as well. And then, of course, most all of the work in the Green Chair is done by volunteers. So there's lots of great opportunities, whether it's dusting and cleaning or refurbishing, or we all can take a part in that in making a home and the furnishings in it a beautiful place for those we serve.
Absolutely. And Rhonda, the Green Chair Project is one organization being honored. Give us the details again on the Jazz Brunch and how people can get tickets.
Absolutely. Again, the Jazz Brunch is going to be an event held on Saturday, April 29th from 11 to 2 at the Crabtree Valley Marriott. It is a time where we are going to celebrate Raleigh Wake Rainmakers, people who are making an impact in our community. With the help of sponsors like WRAL, LexisNexis, and St. David's School, we will be able to identify and recognize those organizations that are making a difference. And we'll do that with over 75 families and their guests at just a wonderful event on that day.
Okay, and people can get tickets by going to
rwjj.eventbrite.com.
Okay. Rhonda Moore, co-chair of the fundraising committee with the Raleigh Wake chapter of Jack and Jill, and Jackie Craig, executive director of the Green Chair Project. Thank you both so much for your work in the community, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with more Tar Heel Talk after these messages. Welcome back to Tar Heel Talk. I'm Sonia Williams. Today's show is all about organizations and efforts to help children and families in need. And now you can get involved by supporting an upcoming community event. On Saturday, April 29th, the Raleigh Wake chapter of Jack and Jill of America will hold its annual Jazz Brunch from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Raleigh Marriott Crabtree Valley. Now, for tickets, you can log on to rwjj.eventbrite.com. Now, a portion of the proceeds from the brunch will help send our local youth to summer camp. Joining me now to tell us more is Thea Horton, president of the Raleigh Wake chapter of Jack and Jill of America, and Shelby Brown, who is the teen president of the organization. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Thea, the Jazz Brunch is just one of the many community efforts by Jack and Jill. Talk a little bit about some of the other partnerships that the Raleigh Wake chapter has throughout the community.
Currently, we are partnering with the March of Dimes. Our previous partnerships have been with the Hope Center for Foster Children, Boys and Girls Club. We've done volunteer services because our mission is to provide the same advantages for other children in the community that our children have the privilege to enjoy. And so we raise funds, but we also volunteer. And so the Boys and Girls Club, as I mentioned, and the United Way, several organizations over the years we've worked with the mission of helping families and children.
Absolutely. Now, Shelby, you are the president of the teen group with Raleigh Wake Jack and Jill, and you all have been extremely busy this year. Talk a little bit about the leadership and service opportunities that the teen group has had.
So throughout this planning year, we have been able to complete a lot of community service projects. First, starting with on Veterans Day, we went to a nursing home and we spent the day with veterans and we played bingo.
Absolutely,
and
I see you there.
It was great to listen to the stories of their service, serving our country, and it was also fun to just, because personally I was in charge of calling out the numbers, so it was fun just interacting with them. And we also participated with Habitat for Humanity on Martin Luther King Day, and we were able to not only bond as a teen group with not only like outside of just planning our planning year and doing Jack and Jill activities, but actually getting dirty and helping other people. And after that, we were able to congregate with other people participating with Habitat of Humanity and eat and just talk to other people and how they liked doing community service. And lastly, March of Dimes. We have raised money and continue to raise money for March of Dimes, and our participation, it goes towards our foundation. So.
And Thea, talk a little bit about the Jack and Jill Foundation, because that is another important component to the community outreach that the organization does.
Yes, a third of our proceeds go to the Jack and Jill Foundation. Jack and Jill Foundation also sponsors nationally. One of our main sponsors was for the Thompson quintuplets. The foundation contributed to them from birth until 18 years.
Wonderful.
And they were able to go to college, and so for the quintuplets, and so our funds went to them for their lifetime. And our foundation supports leadership, and our national theme is the power to make a difference. And so we want to make a difference not only for our local communities, but for our national community.
I mean, you talk about making a difference and helping families. It starts kind of at home, so to speak. So the organization really works with the young people who are a part of it to instill the importance of that community service and then giving them vehicles by which to serve the community.
Yes, our organization starts from age 2 to age 20. And our mission is to develop leaders, not only from training them within the organization, but so they'll be able to go out into the community and serve. We focus on education. We honor our historically black colleges and universities, and we want to develop those leaders so that they'll be able to, as you see, Shelby Brown, excellent leader. Our teens are serving regionally and nationally as well.
And when you talk about those leadership opportunities, Shelby, in addition to being the president of the teen group with the Raleigh Wake chapter, you're also having opportunities to travel to conferences and do public speaking. Talk a little bit about your experiences in Jack and Jill.
So throughout Jack and Jill and as the team president, my roles started last summer at Teen Conference, where I served as a delegate and represented the teen group. And then after that, when we came back to Raleigh and conducted our regular Jack and Jill stuff, it consisted of running our meetings and staying to Robert's Rule of Order, which our TAs have instilled in us to follow, and this is how we follow and conduct business.
Right, and your TAs are your teen advisors,
yes.
So they're kind of guiding you through this process.
Yes, and just working with my exec board to have a good planning year, to stay consistent on how to raise money, how to just be good leaders, and involving the rest of the teens in what we do, and just being a cohesive group. So.
Right. Well, it sounds like you definitely are well on your way to leading some organization or perhaps the country at some point. We thank you so much for sharing your experience with Jack and Jill. We want to remind our viewers how they can get tickets to the Jazz Brunch. The Jazz Brunch is going to be taking place on Saturday, April 29th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Raleigh Marriott Crabtree Valley. And you can get tickets by going to rwjj.eventbrite.com. And Thea, I want you to kind of have the last word here and just tell people why they should come out and support the Jazz Brunch.
We are celebrating for a cause. You spoke with the gentleman from Y Achievers. He spoke of the African American mayor. Clarence Leitner was a Jack and Jill dad. His wife, Mrs. Marguerite Leitner, was an outstanding Jack and Jill mother. And we are supporting the causes for our families
Absolutely.
and children with our jazz brunch. So we want the public to support us.
Excellent. Thank you both so much for being with us. That's it for this week's show. I'm Sonia Williams. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next week.